Q&Asa. Game on daily. Asa. Game on daily.
Welcome to the world of Q&A. So the first one of 2024. First of many, though. We're going to get a bunch of episodes in this year. I reckon there's probably about 52 weeks this year. Not necessarily. Who knows what's going to happen in world events, but we'll probably make it to 52. So a bunch more episodes coming your way. This is where the past, present, and future of gaming all converge. And we have this nice little conversation going back and forth. So welcome if you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, if you found some other strange way to watch and interact. Before we get into it, a word from our sponsor. Sponsored by Game On Daily, news aggregation platform. My microphone's falling over, 1 second. News aggregation platform, social place, loads of gaming news going through there. Check it out if you get the opportunity, and if you like to browse the internet and look at gaming news and stuff, which I suspect some of you do. Yeah. So today's Q&A, sir, is the same as all the other ones. In terms of format, we're going to have this back and forth conversation. We're obviously going to start talking about what games we've been playing and all the rest of it, like we always do. Yes, Tony, that Rocket League advert has made me tons of money. Thank you for watching. We'll have our back and forth. You'll talk to me, you'll talk to each other, and it goes on, and we have a nice time. The focus of today's show is 2024, things to be excited for. We're going to have a look at some games that are coming out and have a bit of a, not a deep dive, but a more extended look at why things are interesting and what's going on. So I've got a few that I've lined up, but I fully expect you'll have some games of your own that are worth taking a look at. It's Q&Asa. What's that? We've also got other ways for you to talk. So if the conversation isn't working for you, if you must have your message read because you're super important, or you just want to support the show with cold hard cash, then you can super chat. I used to say no. I used to set a horrible, unattainable minimum. I don't do that anymore. If you want to super chat, it's very much appreciated, but don't feel like you have to. You don't have to do anything at all. Just being here, even if you're not even talking at all, much appreciated. It is an option though. Option 3 is Discord. If you want to if you want to put your face and your voice, or both, onto the internet and have a little chat for a couple of minutes, there is a link to the Discord server in the video description on YouTube. On Twitch, you're going to have to guess what it is. If you type random Discord links into the internet, you might find it. Hopefully I'll find a way of getting it to you if you do need it over there. But there is a Discord server. You may use it. You may... you did not have to do it, but it is very much appreciated. There is no high super chat price anymore, episode 13, because I've changed my ways and I appreciate the super chats now. I'm a fiend for the monies. It allows me to do much more of this kind of stuff. So, thank you for that, Dodge. It is much appreciated. You do it regularly, though. Don't save some money for yourself. Dodge gave into peer pressure. That's Discord anyway. There is a whole load of waiting rooms. You can get in there. If you are a member of the channel, you do get like priority waiting rooms and more likely to be able to pull you in, but it is open for everyone. So if you want to chat, then you can do, and it's not massively in demand, so I'm sure you'll find a way. Thank you, Isla, for sharing that on Twitch. There is also going to be, if you're on the YouTube side of things, a Q&A box pop up. YouTube supports questions and answers. I don't know if Twitch has an equivalent feature, actually. Maybe it does. If you want to stick things in there, then at the end of the show, we go through those one by one. There's also Discord. There's been a week's worth of things shoved into Discord as well. We'll also look at those at the end of the show. So loads of things to get through. But before we do, let's talk about games, eh? Let's talk about games. Q&A is awesome. The YouTube feature is a very nice feature. Yes, episode 13. The roofing cache. Oh, Dodge's roofing cache, yeah. You liked the running joke. I also liked the running joke, but it did mean I was essentially telling everybody here not to super chat, and that's not a very good way to run a channel, is it? Is it? A bit stupid. Painful Discourse, welcome, long time. Not that long, actually. Important people, only important people can ask questions. Where did you get that from? I'm fairly certain I said the opposite, but everybody can ask questions. Everybody can have this back and forth in this conversation. But if you feel you're too important and you want to throw money at it, then you can also do that. Is this the Q&Asa live show? It can be, Dodge. If you want to come on, only for like a few minutes on this one, although we're going to have a proper show at some point. But if you want to jump onto Discord and talk about anything in particular, stick yourself in one of the waiting rooms and we'll do that. All right, nerd. Says episode 13, everyone. I said if you feel important. No, I'm not sure. I think you've missed some of my words or I've misspoken. But either way, you know you're welcome here. Painful Discourse, you know it. Pulling my leg, you are. Dave Mack has wandered on over to Twitch as well. He's everywhere. Twitch is going to have some different features. It's still a work in progress. I've got a whole bunch of things set up in terms of alerts and jazz and nonsense. Isla is also over on Twitch. A whole load of things set up, and Twitch has different features to YouTube that I'm not leveraging yet, but look out for it in the next week or two, because there are some fun things you can do over there as well. Games, though. Tell me what you've been playing. Episode 13, of course you can join in. You got the voice for it. Everyone loves a bit of farmer talk. Farmers talking about games is the best thing. So, yeah, do it. Tom, did I survive? Oh no, that's not me. That's episode 13. Did he escape Cardiff? I reckon he did, as he's here. Tom, you've been playing Liza P. How are you finding it? And Connor, you're on Street Fighter 6. Why didn't you tell me? I've reinstalled Street Fighter 6. I'm ready. I'll fight you. I haven't played it since I've reinstalled it, but I do enjoy it. Street Fighter 6 is a brilliant game. As fighting mechanics go, it's or fighting games go. It has really simplistic, like rock, paper, scissors mechanisms, and then it layers them on top of each other. So you've got systems on systems that all just make sense and work. It's easy to understand if you're getting into it and playing it, but can also be played at a very high level. Whereas when I played like the Tekken demo and things like that, I don't really know what's going on with those mechanics, and it's overpowering and all of that kind of stuff. Street Fighter 6 just works for me. It's intuitive. So yeah, I enjoy that. And yes, episode 13, you can also fight me again. Connor, you're playing Hunt Showdown as we speak. You can't listen to me and play Hunt Showdown when the audio cues are so critical. Right? I'm going to cause you to lose. Your well-earned hunter. Are they called hunters? You're going to lose your hunter and have to pay for a new one. Tony, you bought VR game. Be more specific, because there is more than one VR game available. Tell me what you bought, Tony. And if I can play it with you. Pete, you're still on Talos Principle 2. Have you hit puzzles that you need to YouTube yet? Starfield, and you're expecting to revisit Cocoon, which you must have hit puzzles that you needed to YouTube, right? Because that's only 3 hours long, I think. Tom, it's really good. Lies of P, not quite Bloodborne, but they've done a great job. You're getting to the late game now, and the story and enemies and lore and stuff are all top-notch. So I liked what I played of it. So consider it on the list. The one day someone's actually going to start writing down the games that are on this list. There's not enough ink in the world, I'm afraid, so don't try. Jordan, Baldur's Gate 3 in the finals. You're almost at the end of Baldur's Gate 3. Good. Soon we can be like communicative on Twitter all over again. Do you know what you're going to go on to next when you finish that one? Tony, you bought Wizard Dark Times, the Brotherhood thing. Yes, I think that's 3-player co-op on the PC one. So, and I think somebody else has got it. Darktide, Warhammer Darktide, the 40k one. What class do you play on that, Painful Discourse? Game on Pete. Have I got you, bud? You've not been getting the YouTube guides. You know it's illegal. Isla, I know you've played a bunch of Stardew Valley. How many hours have you put into that? Does it work? Does it track your hours? Or does it loop round and you keep starting again? I don't really know what Stardew Valley is at all. You've told me that you can farm and grow stuff and go into caves and there's slimes or something, but metagame and structure, I've got no clue. Do you build big circle islands? Dave, you're playing Uncharted 4 as well now. What's with all of you suddenly going on to Uncharted 4? Darge is on Uncharted 4 as well. Ancient games. And how are you finding it? Uncharted's not my favourite of the PlayStation movie game series. Finally... Wow. Oh, Isla's playing another game, yeah. Can we not talk VR? Darge, that's ridiculous. VR's like the only topic. Of course we're going to talk VR. Of course we're going to talk a bit of VR as we go. This is a truly multi-platform, all games everywhere kind of channel. You can't terraform in Stardew, okay. But you still like it. Ali, after 90 hours, this is from Twitch, you would say that Lies of P is your favourite game of the year. Fair enough. There were a lot of good games last year. I've seen a few other people say that Lies of P was theirs as well. Have you played Remnant 2? That's the other one that... The people that like the difficult games often split between Lies of P and Remnant 2 as the best one last year. You hear Luke Ross, Uncharted 4 is good. Space Denizen, I can imagine it is. I've not got the latest version of his mod. The Unreal Engine VR stuff is enough to get my teeth into for a little while, I think. But when can people join? Whenever you want, Dars. Just stick yourself in a waiting room, badger me on there, and I'll drag you in. You can have a little chat if you got something like some burning issue that you need to get off your chest. Remnant's your second favourite. Yeah. Dave, you're playing Remnant 2 on Xbox. Cool. You've been playing High on Life with UEVR. So Space Denizen, and you said yesterday actually that you're doing it with a controller and head aiming, aren't you? I want to do it. Actually, I want to do that one on my treadmill with the 6 degrees of freedom. I need to dick around with the UEVR thing and figure out how to place the guns and stuff, because that game doesn't stick profiles properly apparently. So I either need someone smart to fix that issue, probably Preydog himself, or I need to figure out how to make that per session adjustment for that game. Then get it going on my treadmill and stream the crap out of it, because that should be really good. It looks really good from what I've seen of it in the VR headset. Dad, you're going to jump in before 10? Yeah, no worries, no worries. You pick a convenient moment. If I don't see you in there, then use your words and I'll find you. Is that Emmerdale on in the background? It is not Emmerdale on in the background. Do you mean the music? I actually had I had this OST playing when I spoke to Gamsley on Tuesday, and no one identified it, or I couldn't keep up with chat if anybody tried to identify it. So I figured, hey, I'll stick with it again. It's sort of not relevant, but it has some relevance. It's a Hovis advert. My skit. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, that's on in the background. You have no idea how long that video took to make. Part 2 was going to be brilliant, by the way. Part 2 was going to be, like, so funny. Everyone would have loved it. But I needed that one to get 1 million views before I started working on the second one. You only have your left ear, but don't worry, episode 30. The music's very soft and quiet at the moment anyway. It'll pick up as we go on. Yeah. So, them's the games. What have I been playing? I've not even spoken about my own. I played the Ragnarok Valhalla DLC yesterday. So, it's the roguelike mode, apparently, for God of War that takes place after the campaign. I can't say I was immediately impressed by its roguelike mechanics or like the structure of it in general. God of War has good combat, so I've got hope for it. But as a roguelike, it goes in the opposite direction to Hades, where Hades is like stuff happens, it's challenging and you feel powerful. You blast through it in a certain amount of time and you die and you go again. I've only died once on God of War Valhalla so far. It's forcibly kicking me out with weird artificial pacing restrictions in the way that it lives the story, and I don't feel powerful. None of the upgrades have been interesting so far. Rather than because you've got, like, it comes at the end of God of War Ragnarok, you've got used to a certain power level, and it strips that away from you and gives you parts of it back as you run through the roguelike elements. I'm not getting new things that make me all sparkly and cool. I'm regaining things that I had from the campaign and never feeling like a properly rounded out complete character. I assume I'll feel more rounded out and complete when the roguelike dungeon stops kicking me out and lets me go a bit further. But it is clearly very, for considering it's free DLC, it's very story heavy. There's an awful lot of dialogue going on, an awful lot recorded, and an awful lot of thought put into where it takes the character. So it's not all bad. I should always feel powerful, Tom. That is why Hades is the best. Hades has that loop down perfectly. I said it many times before, but Hades, you burn really bright. It's brief, you don't last very long, but you go through a run on that, you burn so bright, you gain so much. Then it just gives you a little bit more and entices you to go and burn brightly again. And other roguelikes don't really nail that in the same way. Ragnarok doesn't nail that. Hades is okay, average even. Oh, Tom, you disqualified yourself from having an opinion in future. Hades is brilliant. No, you're allowed opinions, of course you are. No game is for everyone. But Hades is probably the only roguelike that I love, that I even tolerate, really, for very long. You thought it was in the works, not abandoned. Well, Pete. Like, I did start... Well, we did start recording some footage and things, but it's very daunting to make that. And the first one got like 400 views, so I needed it to get 1 million. That was the target, and I got 400, so, you know. Ali, on the topic of playing a game for 900 hours and not liking it, there's some games that you don't recommend for others, but you like so much, just playing it for hundreds of hours. So are there any games that I like but don't recommend? Oh, there's bound to be a bunch of games that I like but don't recommend. I mean, my VR treadmill, that's not a game. I really like my VR treadmill, but I couldn't recommend other people spend that kind of money to get one, because there's a whole load of jank and finicking around with it to get it to be good. Plus it costs a lot and takes a lot of money. Good Vibes VR. Try the Quarry. Oh, well, in VR. I could well try that. I played through the Quarry last year. Like, not VR. I played it pancake mode, and it was a disaster run. Everybody died, and it ended quite abruptly before getting to the actual ending, which was entertaining, but there's definitely room to play it again. Strip Boob Room Poker. Painful Discourse. I've not played that, and yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to recommend it to other people. So that's the opposite. That's a game I haven't played that I'd absolutely recommend. How does it work in VR? You just play it like normal with a controller, but you can look around more. Just like Spyro. You can play the Spyro trilogy in VR, and you just play it like normal, but you can look around more. And Tekken VR. You just play it like normal, but Tekken's brilliant in VR. We'll get to that later. This isn't the VR section. Don't want to upset Dodge. Luap, good evening. How you doing? And what have you been playing? Yeah, I thought you might enjoy the Spyro mention. Kratos VR hamster simulator would be amazing. Don't know about that. I'm trying to think of other examples of games that I personally really like but wouldn't recommend to other people. There's probably loads. I mean, Baldur's Gate is one of those. Baldur's Gate's a brilliant game, and obviously most people do recommend it in a one game of the year and all of that stuff, but I'd always hesitate to recommend it to someone that has shown no interest in turn-based games. If you don't like turn-based games, it's very much a Dungeons and Dragons turn-based game, so. Gears of War doesn't work with the injector, or it's listed as very poor, and Gears Tactics as well, which I really wanted to try. There's loads of other. This isn't that section. We'll get there. Actually, fuck it, no, it is that section, isn't it? I can control what section it is. Let's have a quick what's sojourn into the VR territories. Sorry, Darge, but we're going to do it. You should have got in the chat sooner. Patrick, you like Redfall, but you wouldn't recommend it to basically anyone. Yeah, that counts. And Ali, Horizon. Why don't you recommend Horizon? I'd definitely recommend Horizon to people. Ali, you're hungry. Get food. You've got time. Put up the Q&A box if you haven't already. No, you already have. And get food. So, you're going to join in after the VR talk. It's brilliant, Daj. So the Unreal Engine VR injector. We've spoken about it a little bit on the brief shows, but hasn't really come up much for a Q&Asa yet. And a bunch of people are trying it. And as the dust settles, more and more cool things are happening. There was one on Twitter, actually. I'm going to see if I can find it. There's a clip of Mech Warrior. And I will find it because I retweeted it. But it's an example of what's going to happen now that this mod is around. Because the mod is a basic injector and you can just fire up an Unreal Engine game, say inject it here, and then you play it in VR. Come hell or high water, like maybe it works well, maybe it doesn't. Some games just work out the box. Other ones like could obviously be better VR experiences if they had a little care and attention. But it is a framework, it's a modding framework as well as an injector. So it gives people that baseline to get the VR stuff working, and then lets modders take it over and tweak and adjust things to make it more specific to the game. And the example that I saw today, I can't find now, it was Mech Warrior. And you're in a mech in VR and it looks brilliant, and I've lost it. Come on. That's gone forever. But it was real. I did not, did I dream it? I might have dreamt it. It's not exactly like an original thought to sit in a mech in VR, is it? No, it was real. Who wrote is Asa? Ali, you're making noodles right now. Fantastic, but it doesn't help. It doesn't help either. Who wrote it? I can't. Oh, it would have been Flat to VR. I would have seen it on the Flat to VR account. That's a good point, Peter. Flat to VR. If you're in VR and you're not following that account, you're going to miss some things. Here we go. Peter, you're an inspiration. Here it comes. I'm not picture in picture. Screw you. What's the buttons? This one. Mech Warrior in VR. Looking around the cockpit. It's got rain. Everybody loves games with rain. How much better than Pancake Mech Warrior does that look? The correct answer, by the way, is it doesn't look any better than Pancake Mech Warrior, because what you're seeing on screen is essentially Pancake Mech Warrior. But if you can imagine it, if you've used VR before and you know that kind of presence and surrounding nature of it, this looks incredible. Like the Tekken footage that I put on Twitter, you can look at that, and I know full well when I'm putting it up there that it doesn't show the experience, because you can look at that and what you're essentially looking at is just Tekken in the way that you've always seen it, with a slightly more wobbly camera. But in a headset, it's an entirely different thing. Who wrote the injector? Praydog. So Praydog already has fantastic form as a VR modder, because he's responsible for all of the Capcom ones, the RE Engine mods. So Resident Evil 2, 3, 7, 8. And you can do the Monster Hunter games and all of that kind of stuff. And he's got, which means Dragon's Dogma 2 as well, will probably be in VR. I know it's a new iteration of the engine, but hopefully that's there. They removed the rain in Resident Evil 4. I don't know. I hope not. I like rain. Do you mean in the VR version, Ali? All devs really need to do is make a good player porn for their games. Yeah, the way the injector works, if the game has been made with a nice the player actor, the porn, with defined like arms and guns and shoulders and things like that, then the injector can tweak and turn off and move things as it needs to make for a perfect VR experience. That is true. But so whereas the RE engine injector is for Capcom games, which is like there might be, I don't know, 7 or 8 of them at the moment that it works with. The Unreal injector is for Unreal Engine 4 and 5 games, of which there are 11,000. Not all 11,000 work, but an awful lot do work. So the normal version had ugly rain in the start on pancake mode. I remember people criticizing the rain from the trailer, actually. I don't know if they improved it by release or not. He knew I dreamt of being a mech warrior. Yeah, why not? Who doesn't? Apart from, like, the risk of death. Kratos, you're playing Evil West as it's free. You really like the Red Dead God of War crossover. Is that what you consider it? Red Dead God of War. It's had Outriders vibes as well to me. How are you finding it looks? Because it wasn't the most performant on the consoles, that one. Or it had a performance mode, but it dropped it all the way down to 1080p if I recall correctly. We can talk about the various monthly games that are coming as well, because those are always a little bit interesting at the start of a month. We are also at the start of the year, so. Unreal Tournament in VR would be sweet. Unreal Tournament's probably too old. They did, so Epic had, what did they call it? I don't know, they had a thing, didn't they? They were working on Unreal Tournament and they ditched it. But there are lots of other things. There's a ton of stuff. In fact, I can't bring the Discord up at the moment because it's busy, but if you have access to the Flat to VR Discord and you give yourself the roles to have a look at it, it is quite well documented which games work and don't. The Quarry uses metahumans, so it's possible to have upper inverse kinematics solver. Interesting. Has someone done that yet? Good vibes. That's a curious test. Quake 2 Remaster VR. So Quake 2 is not on the Unreal Engine, but you can already play. You can play Quake 2 in VR standalone on a Quest or a Pico already, and Quake 3 and soon Quake 4. He enjoyed Evil West for 20 hours. Almost God of War standards of combat, but not quite there. It's not a melee game though, is it? I thought Evil West was shooting, more so. I thought it was more Outriders. I could be completely wrong on that though. I'm going to bring up a trailer for Evil West while I'm here, because trailers are nice. Yeah. Evil West, in fact, sure, we can pivot to the monthly games while we're here. So keep talking. I know VR is a divisive topic. Some people love it and want to talk about it, and other people are Xbox fans. I'm aware of that. I know how it plays out. But if you want to keep talking exciting VR things, I do love it. So you're welcome to. That's not YouTube. And we'll talk monthly games at the same time. Titanfall 3 would be awesome. Yeah, Titanfall, they use updated or their own in-house version of the Source engine, right? For Titanfall 1 and 2. So I don't think we get that one out of it. People still play Xbox. Some people play it so much that they refuse to acknowledge how cool virtual reality is. Outriders is wonderful. You'd love another one. I wouldn't mind another Outriders. First one wasn't perfect by any stretch, but sequel would improve on it, wouldn't it? Evil West, that's what I was bringing up. Trailer. Reveal trailer? Yeah, why not? Why not a reveal trailer?
People want me dead. They call it justice. I'm the only one who knows the truth. All I
I
have
hear
left
stuff.
is the wind by my side.
I didn't say wink or wank, Pete. I don't think. Oh, Kratos. Okay, fair enough. Why limit yourself indeed? Why limit yourself to Pancake games only when you could be in those games? You know I'm not trying to incite any kind of console warring, because then I'll just have to mute myself and disconnect. So I'm only pulling your leg. Xbox stuff is cool. I'm going to talk about exciting games for the year, which is across all the platforms. There are exciting things everywhere, which is how I live my gaming life. Pancakes for Life, absolutely episode 13, but obviously VR as well. You've got to mix it up. Why limit yourself, as Ashes to Ashes said up there? VR is only interesting if you have the money to buy it. I mean, it's definitely can be pricey, right? You could say the same about consoles though. They're only interesting if you can afford to buy them. I'm not saying you should prioritize VR over Pancakes. That's not really how it works. Good vibes. Kingdom Hearts 3 is broken. It loads Sora into a hidden room. I've never played a Kingdom Hearts game. VR might be just a push that I would need to try. I do really want to try, there's quite a few Japanese RPGs on the list that are supported. And I've spent years, literally years, wishing for that genre to get better representation in VR. Because it just doesn't really exist. And now I can play some of the big ones. Kratos, you'd buy PSVR 2, but no way you're dropping $1,000. Have you've got a PlayStation 5, haven't you? No, you haven't. You're on the PlayStation 4 at the moment. PSVR 2 is also, when you talk earlier about things that I might like myself, but not necessarily recommend. I think to get PSVR 2 at the moment, you'd have to be a big fan of Gran Turismo. To be able to guarantee that long-term value. Because Sony aren't promising anything. So you've got Resident Evil games that you can play through. But those are like, you play them and you're done, really. You've got a few others. Like, there are games that are worth playing. There's a lot of little games on there, but it doesn't have that future catalogue lined up. Because Sony won't tell us about, or are potentially not really making things. So I really like PlayStation VR 2. It is real VR, it's proper, it works, and it's modern VR with the controlling functionality and standards you'd expect. But it needs Sony to come out and say they're supporting it. There is Horizon on VR. It's a long, long way away from Horizon Pancake in terms of scope of project. Stone around PSVR's neck is it being console only? Not necessarily. It's not like PC VR is... I mean, Unreal Engine Injector has changed things up a bit, but there's not publisher money in that. PC VR is not exactly on fire in terms of content, so... Stone around its neck is that it is VR and it is in the same position as all the other VR headsets. Mismatch in perception of value with the audience and economics and all the rest of it. It's a very difficult place for VR at the moment. Horizon Call of the Mountain is good. You beat it? Yeah, I've beaten it as well. I'm not saying it's terrible. I think it's a really nice intro to PSVR 2. But it is just an intro to it. And that takes between, like, I don't know, 6 and 10 hours maybe if you're lucky. Whereas Horizon Forbidden West was like 80 hours or something like that. So scope-wise, they're very, very different. Do I mean that it looks cheap? What looks cheap? Sorry, I missed a thing. Do I still think that mixed reality Pete, do I still think that mixed reality games will never progress and catch on? Is VR doing... No, mixed reality is going to catch on. I think the reach for headsets is going to stay relatively stagnant until mixed reality or augmented reality takes off in the broader scope outside of gaming. And then in future the technologies will converge. So VR is still going to be cooler, but AR, augmented reality and mixed reality is going to blow up a lot quicker. But then those headsets are also going to have VR capabilities, and that's when things change in terms of market size. It's not going away, I don't think. It would be a very interesting situation if, say, Sony, I mean, maybe Sony have pulled out, arguably, but if Sony were to pull out and Meta were to pull out, then you'd be wondering where, like, any kind of funding is coming from and how the technology gets pushed forwards, because there is very little appetite elsewhere. Although supposedly Samsung have a Google-powered headset in the works at the moment, which again could mix things up. Replicant's going to be fine. Oh, anyone can come on and talk. Welcome, by the way, Lost Boomer. I see you there. Anyone that wants to come on, just stick yourself in the waiting room. I can see Darge there. Let's bring Darge in for a little chat, actually. I can't quite see my screen. Darge, did I put you in the room? Oh, I've lost you. There you are. Right, Darge, no one can see you yet. Are you going camera mode or are you staying shy? Got Darge in the background. You won't hear him until I put him on screen, but in theory, I should hear him sooner. But I can't. Darge, I can't hear you. Give me a sec. Darge, keep talking. Now I can hear you. Are you ready for your moment of Q&Asa fame? That's not your good microphone, is it? Is it? Right, here he is. No, wrong button. Here he is. Here is Darge. Voice only. Talking into a tin can. Darge, what do you want?
I want to know what my fucking mic sounds like, because now you're making me want to get the other one out.
Nah, you're alright. You're alright.
I've had to mute.
How you doing, sir?
I'm alright, mate. I'm alright. I'm just, I thought I'd watch and interact for once, because, I'm just playing games lately, and not console warring as much anymore. So
Brilliant, isn't it? When you just sit down and actually play some stuff.
I know. I heard you earlier. I thought I can't type that quick to start banging off in the chat, but I'm playing Uncharted 4. I don't know. I played The Last of Us remake. I got the 4070 Ti upgrade, didn't I? So then I thought, let's start whacking out, and did The Last of Us remake. I feel quite happy in the sense that I've never paid attention to anything PlayStation before because of my fanboyism, and I had no real knowledge of the story, so to speak. And it, for me, it is a really good game and a really good story and a really good remake. It was great. So then I thought because I own a lot of the Sony games on my Steam, so I went into Spider-Man, and then it was like, Spider-Man's pacing. I mean, I tweeted about it. I wasn't happy about it, but yeah. And then Uncharted. Do you know what I mean? And Uncharted, them sort of games. I tweeted out about Indiana Jones. Like, they're my type of games that I enjoy. Gears of War, but with Gears of War, there's not really.
Uncharted more than Last of Us. Like, it's tonally really different.
Yeah, I do. I like the story and the way The Last of Us plays out. Like the sort of, the suspense. Like you're sort of always hiding from the clickers and this, that, and the other. It's quite stealthy.
Stealth.
Yeah, but I prefer the sort of gung-ho, with Uncharted and the, like the traversal, like the Tomb Raiders, those types of games. Gears of War is that for Xbox, I guess, but Gears of War doesn't have any traversal in it, does it really? It's just...
Gears of War chased that kind of spectacle. From the second one on, it went for the same kind of cinematic bang as Uncharted. Not the same kind of sense of humour, but spectacle, yeah.
Oh, I get it. The Coalition, they're great. Like, I haven't played Hivebusters still, but Gears 4 and 5.
Hivebusters is gorgeous. You'll like that as well.
I need to play that with someone on co-op as opposed to doing it. I don't have to, but
I play games.
Yeah, I know, but I don't have a lot of time.
It just rejected me on the spot, live on my own show. He's like, "Yeah, I know you do, but
no, I didn't reject. I'm just saying, I don't have time anymore, man. I'm like, after working and the kids.
It's 3 hours long. Hivebusters will take you 3 hours.
Oh well, we'll whack that out in the weekend then if you want to do it, because I don't really want to see it, because Coalition, like everyone is willing Gear 6 into existence, and. About Gear 6, man. I just like it's the story, you know what I mean? I'm not really on it, you know what I mean?
No,
I don't mind it, but I'm not. It's not Marcus Phoenix and the rest of them, you know what I mean? So
I do know exactly what you mean. So are you going to do Uncharted 1 to 3 as well, or are you happy with 4?
I can't now, because they're not on PC. I could probably emulate them.
Did they not bring the collection over?
No, so the thing that I've got, probably no, I think it's called the Lost Legacy Collection or something like that, or something like that. So it's Uncharted 4 or Legacy of Thieves.
And Lost Legacy,
yeah. And Lost Legacy, yeah. So they're the only two that are actually on PC. So I've got those, and then I'm thinking about maybe jumping on God of War, but I ain't too sure because games is going to start coming out soon. Do you know what I mean? So Dragon's Dogma is the one that I'm really looking forward to. Have you played Dragon's Dogma, the original?
I haven't. I've had it installed on 3 different systems. It's still installed on my PC and my Xbox at the moment.
Yeah, I installed it on Steam and recently was playing it up to about level 20, but it just feels like a game of its day. You know what I mean? Like, and it was just annoying, mate.
It's telling you to skip God of War. Are you going to play God of War?
I'll play. So I had this thing with like Zolka and that like years ago, and they were saying, "Oh, you like you're ignoring all these like Sony exclusives." So I went, "Well, I'll just go and buy a PlayStation 4 Pro now, like, and play them." And me being me, I did go out and buy it. And God of War, a dealer told me I got right near the end, but I didn't finish it. But I will do it because it was. Look, the main reason I'm playing these games is because of the GPU. Like, I want to see, I want things to melt. So yeah, I will play that. I've got a funny feeling. Last of Us 2, quote unquote, remastered. That'll
come this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll come literally a couple of months or so after that. So like April, March, something like that. Hopefully. But yeah, like just playing games, Asa. You know, not talking shit as much anymore. It's good.
I'm happy to hear it, Daj. You're truly reformed, aren't you?
Well, not truly, but a little bit. You know what I mean? But yeah, just to stop doing all the toxic bullshit. You know what I mean? I kind of thought, do you know what I mean, Asa? Like I had an Xbox Series X just sitting on my sideboard there, and like the only reason I was playing games on it was for achievements. And then I thought, what am I doing? Like I played through Dead Space Remake, as great as that game is, and it's great. I played through it on the console and I had my PC sitting there, and I thought, why am I doing that? So now I'm just like, now I don't know. I might buy a Switch too. You know, if you see me owning a Switch 2, Asa, then you'll know I've fully changed my ways. But yeah, got a Steam Deck as well. That's good. Oh, have you got any recommendations for Steam Deck quickly?
No, I've got nothing for Steam Deck because I don't play it. I've not got one.
Yeah, I can't. Even Street Fighter, like I had to put that into like a performance mode for 60, and it just looks shit. I think I'm just going to stick with indies on that.
Yeah, that's probably what I'd do as well. The people love open-minded, open gaming, Daj, by the way, which is good because we're going to get you on your proper mic and your camera, and you're going to do a proper show at some point here, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I'm proper mic. I mean, I get shit about my mics and my voice all the time, like, do you know what I mean? Absy from ACG loves my voice, but other than that, everyone else is like, fucking need an interpreter for you, mate. But yeah,
you got the voice for everyone loves your voice. You just need that good mic.
Yeah, I got I still got my. Do you know what? I'm gonna get a Shure. I don't even need it, mate. Like I say, like I've still got my.
Don't get a Shure unless you're gonna do content creation.
I'm gonna get a Shure. I might just start doing YouTube shorts and just like.
You don't need like a 300 quid mic just to come on my show and talk to me for a bit.
Yeah, but you know me. I don't need half of what I have, but I'll just get it. You know what I mean? I've got that blue snowball still, but.
That'll do. I'm just defending my regular super chats from you. That's all. I don't spend it on a microphone.
Yeah. No, it's all good, mate. It's all good. I'll sort it. Yeah, like I say, just let me know when you want to do that thing, and I'll have a shave. Yeah. I can't compete with your beard, so I'll have to take mine off.
Right, we'll do that. Daj, I'm going to kick you out now. Everyone loves you. We'll have that chat for sure. The rest of you, if you want to get onto Discord and have a little chat, that's how easy it is. You just get on there and you have a little chat.
Get on. I've set the bar real low, so you'll all be better than me. So do it. Right, Asa, I love you. Later.
Catch you later. Right. Let's move on to games that are coming up, huh? That's what we'll do next. So thank you, Daj, for coming on and interacting, because in theory, like I set that stuff up ages ago and it's very rarely used, but it is cool when people do it. So thank you for that. 1 minute Daj reviews of the future of game reviews from Tom. There we go. I'll listen to them, but my reviews are the future of game reviews. But no, Daj can be in there. So, Really moving at the end. Yes, episode 13. I saw you say how keen you are on Zorka. Zorka hates Xbox. Just putting it out there for you. He's PC all the way and laughs at the consoles. So I'm not trying to stir up trouble or anything, but yeah. All PC. Either you accidentally invented a Twiglet cannon and shot yourself in the eye with it. I'm not sure if it registers as an invention, if it's that dangerous. If you can shoot someone else in the eye, then you can probably market that thing. So give it a go. That's what your YouTube shorts are going to be. I'm looking forward to it. I will listen. Episode 13 is open and he's expanding his horizons as well. He likes someone that doesn't even own an Xbox. This is progress. I'm happy for you, episode 13. So, things that we're looking forward to. So I've got a little selection lined up of things that I'm looking forward to. You probably know some of them because I've mentioned it more than once. Let's start off with Dragon's Dogma 2, which is going to be Game of the Year 2024. Yes? They're all agreed? Absolutely all agreed. So Capcom are on fire in general with their Resident Evil remakes and all the rest of it. Even Exoprimal, like, obviously that doesn't count as being on fire, but it was polished and high quality in its own way. Dragon's Dogma 2 hits a popular genre in that it is off-kilter high fantasy. So it's going up against all your Skyrims and Avowed and all sorts of things, but it is a well-established and popular genre. Elden Ring sits in that little pocket as well. Thing that people like, but it is going to reinvent it in certain ways in terms of how dynamic the gameplay is and how flexible the systems were, in the way that people still talk about Skyrim when Skyrim came out over a decade ago. That it's systems on systems on systems and they all interact in unusual ways, and it gives it a certain, I don't know, it's an unusual quality. Dragon's Dogma is going to come out with its own unusual quality. It's going to do the same thing. I think that's going to hit really well when it lands next year. Obviously, I've not played it and I don't actually know anything, so don't pre-order it. That would be stupid. But personally, I have high hopes for Dragon's Dogma. And I think IGN had 18 minutes of gameplay for it yesterday, which we'll have a little look at in a minute. Darge was impressive. He flowed well. Yeah, we had good conversations with Darge before. Well, in the way that I had a special Q&Asa chat on Tuesday with Gamsley, I will do one with Darge as well. Other people that are interested in coming on and having a chat, I'm much more interested in talking to people in this community more so than big influencers. So let me know if you have ambitions to have a little conversation. Not that it's like ambition's a funny choice of word, you know, but if you fancy it, do it. Isla, that's your name. Are you volunteering? Are you saying that you want to come and have a good chat? Because I'm sure there are plenty of people that will be there for that as well. Don't try and understand Tony, episode 13. It's like staring into the void. Tony's going to Tony, and if you try too hard to understand it, you will go insane. If I talk to you about stuff that you know about, we'll think about it. You know about all sorts of stuff. Question is, do I know about the same sorts of stuff? Stare into Tony. I did, that's why I went insane. I'm just warning other people, like, you don't want to follow. Or maybe you do, I don't know. It's like when you watch water going down the plug hole and zone out. That is Tonio. It's not entirely dissimilar. Isla, do you have a member milestone chat? Can you use it? If you do, I'm curious if stuff works. I've done lots of configuration on the milestone chat, and they may or may not work. Nothing, you might waste it. Might be that nothing comes up, or there might be something special and unique. Don't hack into chat and start using my account. That's not okay. Dragon's Dogma 2. So Tom says it looks pretty special. Fingers crossed. Has anybody else got that one on there? Like, as high on the list as I have? Because if I organise things I'm excited about in 2024, and we will talk about each of these in a little more depth as we go. But top of the pile, for me is Dragon's Dogma 2, as I think it will probably be the best game next year. And then alongside it is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, in that I can't not play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm already fully invested into that one. So those are my top two for like things to look forward to in the Land of Pancakes. And then in the tier just like immediately below that, I've got Avowed and Hades 2. Dodge is back. Dodge wasn't going anywhere. Ashes to Ashes absolutely grabbing Dragon's Dogma 2. Dodge has got... Hopefully coming back to being live. We're live again. Give it a refresh. Refresh. We're back. So that was all YouTube as far as I know, but means if I did that milestone chat, my alerts don't work. Isla, you didn't break it, completely unrelated. But no alert came up when you did that, did it? Oh, that's sad. Okay, nobody did remember milestone alerts. It's broken. So, we were talking about Stalker 2 and Hellblade. We're going to talk about Stalker 2 and Hellblade. Oh, it did. You saw it. Don't type as me. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Tell me about it. What did it look like? Please describe what you saw when that happened. I know what you should have seen, but I don't know what you did see. And if anybody else has one lined up, stick it on there so that I can see it. Oh, you didn't? Oh, I see. The refresh made you type as me. It looked like sparks in all of the A guys. All of the A guys? Oh, that went horribly wrong then. Maybe that is what crashed it. It was more than one. It should only have been one. So. One A guy. Okay, I'm going to watch it back afterwards. Maybe it'll be there. It should have been a unique one, but if you can't do it again, you get one of those, they're milestone chats. So after a month of membership, it gives you one. It's like an included super chat, effectively. So if anybody else has their memberships rolling and you got one of those stored up, give it a go and we'll see if the stream crashes again. It was unique and it was only one, not loads of them. Maybe everything worked perfectly then. It is, Pete. It's at the end of the month from your joining day, so I think. Good, that's not a topic anyway. So, Dragon's Dogma 2. Some people were excited and loving that. Oh, I'm not on Twitch anymore. No, I am on Twitch still. Sorry, Twitch. Everything's perfect and smooth. Kratos, you only have a PSN membership. That's fine. I'm not telling people they have to become members. It's not compulsory to be here or anything. It's just a thing that I encourage for the people that can, that have money to throw around. So, Dragon's Dogma 2, Game of the Year. Everybody agrees, right? Next on my list, and we will get to your list as well, so Hellblade and Stalker 2, keep a note of them for me, because we're going to run over those. Next on my list, though, is, of course, the very special, bound to be brilliant, but I don't like the way that it's releasing, Hades 2. You can see Dragon's Dogma 2 being Game of the Year. Tony, oh yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. We were going to talk about the subscription services for the month. We might get to it later, we might not. So, Hades, as I've said many times, is phenomenal, and Tom is wrong. Hades 2 only needs to be more Hades, and it'll be phenomenal. That's not strictly true. They've got their work cut out to kind of broaden it. It was already very broad in scope, and they need to broaden it further and give people new toys and things to play with. But I'm pretty confident that they'll do it. The reason I said I'm not too keen on the way that it's releasing is that it is releasing into early access. And I'm not on principle terribly against early access, but I don't typically partake myself. I'd rather play a nice working complete game at launch with all of its systems in place. And for a game like Hades that was like paced and looped so perfectly, I don't want to play it before it's perfect. So I'm not sure when the actual release comes out. Early access is definitely this year, but actual release date, I don't know how long they're planning to keep it in early access for, because the first Hades was like over a year of it. Hopefully they don't need as long this time. But I'm just going to have to, like, I don't know, pretend that it hasn't launched into early access when it does, which I managed for like 3 years for Baldur's Gate 3, so I'll be alright. Episode 13, you prefer digital? Fair enough. Yeah, Hades 2. It's going to be brilliant. You'll all be playtesting, not me. I'm going to wait for actual launch. And that's going to be Indie Game of the Year, right? So we've got Game of the Year down and Indie Game of the Year down. You must all be looking forward to both of those. These are exciting, cool games. You prefer owning your games and having a physical copy. You only buy digital as it's dirt cheap. It's fair enough. Some people do like... I still value collections of things in the whole physical digital debate. I'm not going to talk about that now. It's another whole topic to branch off to. We've got so many games to talk about. When is Hades 2 launching? I'm not sure. Early access is, I think, in the first half of this year, Pete. Actual launch, I don't know. Yeah, first Hades, Supergiant credit early access a lot for the success of the game. The feedback really helped them refine it and build it into what it was. But they already know how to make a good Hades game. We don't need early access for Hades 2. I'd much rather they just like cooked it in the background and gave me the full thing. Oh well. It will be brilliant, Patrick. It's hard to imagine that they won't nail it again, even though like the first Hades game is a really high standard for them to try and hit again, but just see them doing it, because it wasn't a fluke, was it? It was a culmination of other good projects. So you haven't played 1, do you need to? You don't need to play 1 to play 2, Pete, but you need to play 1 to play 1. You've seen my review of it, you know how much I like that game. You can even, it has like a god mode, which isn't Doom style god mode where you're invincible. It just speeds up your progression. So if you're worried about it taking too long or don't think you're very good at that kind of game, you can just whack on the god mode and it makes you progressively more powerful or something like that. But yeah, get through it. Hades is really good. They've never done a sequel before. I don't think they've done a sequel, no, but when I say it's a culmination of their previous ones, I mean Bastion and Transistor, which are the only previous ones that I know about. Just needs to be Hades with more boons and an extra stage or 2 and you'll be happy. Me too, Patrick. Like a couple of different weapon archetypes. And like you say, a couple of boons. Some different characters to interact with. I will be very happy with that. It gives you more armor. This is Ali on the god mode in Hades. More armor, like... I don't think you get armor normally, do you? You get health. Do you mean more health? Or does it, because enemies have armor, does it give you a layer of armor? Replicant, you like Transistor? I didn't finish Transistor, it was cool though. It was very stylish. You missed it on Game Pass, Pete. It was on Game Pass for like a year. But it is only... You can probably pick it up for like a tenner. It was less than 20 when it came out, I think. Episode 13, you left me some questions. Thank you. You get some sleep and you watch those questions back at your own convenience. Because I will get to them, as I always do. The enemy damage reduces. Oh, okay, fair enough. It's 21 at the moment. You'll find it cheaper if you look around, I'm sure. But I guess that's the digital price. Yeah. I mean, it's brilliant and it's... Again, I don't like to tell people what any amount of money is worth because that's quite a unique thing to everyone. But if any game's worth 21 quid, it's that one. It'll definitely go on sale if you hang around and wait though. It's been around a long time. CD keys don't have much in terms of Xbox stuff. Most of the stuff that's available on CD keys for Xbox is stuff that has been available in various bundles and things. That's usually how the keys come into being. But Hades, yeah, you're not the only one, Ali. Everybody loves it. Everybody but Tom and Pete, because he's never played it. But Pete loves it by proxy because he knows that we all do. It might come back to Game Pass before 2 comes out. You get a lot of games on CD keys, fair enough. But I'm not sure, you mean have a look if you want. I'm not sure if Hades will be on there or not, but you can look for research. And all key shop, yeah, there's loads of key sites. CD keys is one of the relatively more legitimate ones. You get into the real dodgy grey markets of stolen keys and all the rest of it. I think CD keys is above board, so. Yeah, watch my review again, it's a nice review. And obviously completely spoiler free, so you can watch that and then decide you want to play it. Ali, you bought it for like $2. I've got it on PC and Xbox. In my Xbox One, I'm avoiding touching the save because it's a beautiful save file that I've got for Hades. I completed it in 19 runs, so 10 escapes. 10 in a row from the 9th one through to the 19th. Does that make sense? Something like that. Brilliant. I'm good at Hades. Keep it there to remind myself. That's a thing I can do well. That and kick people in the face. So, that's Hades 2. Final Fantasy Rebirth. Who's on the Final Fantasy 7 remake? Like train, as it were. Who's invested in that? Who's played through the first one and is now waiting for Rebirth? Because I very much am. It's a very, very rare, lucky treat that 7 turned out to be good, the remake. I did not expect it to be, because Square Enix cannot make a good Final Fantasy game. They don't know how. As we've seen from... I'm not saying that 16 is necessarily a bad game, but it's not like anything like the older ones. So I didn't believe that they could make a good Final Fantasy 7 remake. I had no faith, and then it came out and it was really damn good. So now I'm very much looking forward to Rebirth. Whether they can nail it again or whether the first one was fluky, we shall see. I'm a little concerned because they've taken... in keeping with Final Fantasy VII like story and pacing, Rebirth is where it branches out into more of an open world. And they have said that that is what they're doing. They're keeping true to that. And they've said nice things, like they're taking their cues from the quest structure in The Witcher 3 and stuff like that. Like they do recognise what a good open world game is. But do they? Have they ever done well with an open world Final Fantasy? Because 15 is the example that springs to mind. I freaking hated their open world. So... slightly cagey and cautious on how it's going to turn out, but can't miss it. Can't miss it, that's for sure. One of the few games... I haven't played Final Fantasy 16 yet because I'm waiting for the PC release. 7 Rebirth, I will not wait for the PC release. I will just play it. I will accept the lower resolution or whatever other compromise is because I need to play that one. Final Fantasy 16 is tied to Kingdom Hearts 4. It's tied. It was tied. You mean tied? Like they're related in some way? Pete, Electronic First supplied you cheap Windows 11 and Office 2021 Pro keys. Yeah, Windows keys. I've not tried Office, but in fact, I didn't even know you can still get Office keys. Thought they'd taken those off the market in favour of subscriptions, but Windows keys always work for 10 quid or whatever. Madness to buy them for the 90 quid or whatever they're supposed to. Guys, you might get it on Steam. As in the remake, yeah. The Steam one was supposed to suffer some shader cache stutter throughout, but that wouldn't be enough to deter from it being a good game, I don't think. Although I did go into it with the fondness of the original, so I don't actually know how well Final Fantasy VII Remake kind of stands up for people that didn't play the first, like play the original. So perspective I don't have because it's not me. You can still get Office. Windows keys work until you install new hardware. Yeah, they do. Do have their activation limits, but you know, tenner's a tenner. Car keys greater than CD keys. Depends if you need to get anywhere or not. I'd say if not, you still got that value in the ability to sell a car, I suppose. Okay, so everybody agrees Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is very exciting. It's not going to be Game of the Year, but it's coming. Important game. Is there any such thing as an important game? Yes, and Final Fantasy VII is one of them. Next on the list, I'm just cracking through mine, but we've still got from you lot, Stalker and Hellblade. Have we had any others? Or are those the only two mentioned? Keep them. If you've got more, I want to know about them. Avowed is next on my list. Replay trailer. Why is Avowed next on my list? Because it's made by Obsidian and they make brilliant games. Avowed is set in the Pillars of Eternity universe. I've not played Pillars of Eternity. Yeah, that's right. I've not played those two games. They are also backlogged, installed, ready to go. In fact, I tried to play the first one on my PC, and it just crashed. It wouldn't work at all. So I say they make brilliant games. They make brilliant games that don't necessarily work on my PC at the time. This Pain, welcome. How's it going and what have you been playing? Out to Us was great though. I've not played Pentiment either. I'm singing Obsidian's praises and not playing half their games, but I like them as a studio. And Avowed, like Dragon's Dogma, hits that same just works high fantasy slot. I'm there for it. It's high on my list as one that I'm looking forward to. And I think we'll be seeing more of that soon at the rumoured developer direct. You think Obsidian is the best Microsoft game studio ever? It's a big claim. They've got a lot of studios now. They're definitely up there though. Definitely up there for me. It's just they write good characters, which is not all that common in the games industry. I like the old choice and consequence style of game, and they do it well. Good vibes you want, more hybrid PSVR 2 titles. Me too. Like, the device seems really specifically tailored for that purpose in terms of its capabilities, and we've seen it done well, very rarely by Sony with Gran Turismo, and we've seen it done well by Capcom, but we've seen no evidence that Sony actually mean to build their games in that way. And we need to see that. It'll make a massive difference, because hybrid development is going to be key to getting those bigger games to those VR headsets. So I'm with you on that one. Atomic Heart Stuck in Limbo is pretty high on the list right now. I've still not played Atomic Heart, but that is on the list of injectable, plays perfectly in VR games. So expect me to get through that soon. No, don't expect me to get through it soon, but expect me to keep mentioning that it's on my backlog forevermore, because that's how I do games, really. Getting a little mouldy. Wait, you got Waterloo Go on your car. I also have car issues. I had, it's completely non-related. I had just stupid windscreen wiper fluid leaked all over my boot, and it stinks in there, and everything in there stinks, which causes me problems because I need the stuff that's in there. Good point. Good point. Pete, when you change PC, you're happy to pay £9.50 for a new Windows license. Yeah, it's not so bad, is it? If you can afford a PC, you can be getting a dodgy knockoff Windows. They're not knockoff Windows, they're legitimate keys, but you know what I mean. Tony, Apple Vision better than Meta Quest 3. How would you play any of your games on an Apple Vision headset? You'd be stuck. No teleport to movement for you, no walking, no driving, no swinging swords and axes, no throwing axes at them skeletons, no shooting guns. All you got is pinch gestures and looking at stuff. Terrible idea. Terrible idea. So what game was that? That was Avowed. And we've got some people somewhat enthused, but I'm not getting the same sense of excitement from Avowed. That's mostly because it's in my head. I don't think any of you have really expressed excitement for any of the games that I'm talking about, but I choose to perceive that you all agree with me. Replicant, you bought a new car, fancy, and on the first day, 2 bottles of Stella cracked and exploded all over the boot. Yeah. Yeah. I was going to tell you some really clever way to clean out odors like that, but then I forgot the 2 secret ingredients. It's like, no, I'm not even going to say, because then someone will put this weird concoction in their car and make it smell even worse forever. I had, essentially, was it my current car? Long time ago that I got it. I've had it for freaking ages. Day that I got it, I left the handbrake off and it rolled into my house. Fortunately, did no damage to the house or the car, but that was a moment of sunken heart as I watched it just slowly roll into the house. Patrick's excited for Avowed High Fantasy with Flintock. Oh, that's a game too, isn't it? Flintock. This was a while ago, yeah. Other one on my list, because I have to throw one in there so that I'm not a gigantic fraud. Still looking forwards to Behemoth. And there's nothing of it, so it's hard to really enthuse about it without actually seeing the game. There's only a cinematic trailer, but it's a VR game that I plucked from thin air to look forward to. I'm actually really looking forward to Bulletstorm VR that comes out in a couple of weeks' time. But VR projects, there's not a whole lot known about many of them, and this one is from a reputable studio and looks like it has some grand ambitions, so I'm curious to see more about it. If Sony isn't showing off TVs at CES, you wonder what they are showing. I don't know, actually. CES is always it flies by without that much attention and always has loads of cool stuff in it, because obviously it's technology and display related more so, or consumer electronics show, so more so than specifically about games, but it is where you get lots of VR hardware and monitors and TVs and things that are gaming adjacent. So it is an interesting show. That's happening, like the main part of it is this weekend, right? Ghost of Tabor, yeah, I mean it's early access still at the moment, isn't it? It definitely has. Oh, that trailer's still playing, never mind. Ghost of Tabor definitely has some positivity around it. And some jank around it, because it was a proper early access, not finished game. I've been meaning to get on that at some point, forever. But again, I can wait until they get to their version 1 and then have a go. The 8th is CES, yeah. Okay. I will pay attention. I know Samsung have already been talking about some very nice monitors that they're going to be presenting. Trust no one on the island of Tabor. How multiplayer is it? Because it's modelled on Escape from Tarkov, right? But I've never played Tarkov either. I don't really know. That's the basis of the extraction shooter, isn't it? New Nvidia cards at CES. Yeah, but it's just the same series, the super ones, right? Not anything actually interesting. I hope, and I am not ready for a new graphics card. I want Nvidia to just hold off until my life circumstances change entirely and I can afford whatever comes next. So a year at the least. I'd like to be ready to get an entirely new PC when when the 50 series comes out. But that's not happening anytime soon, so they need to wait. Baz, your car was a write-off when you bought it. You got told it was all repaired. You replaced everything just about on the front, so I see. Yeah, cars can be a shit. Flintock should be cool too. It's been delayed a whole lot though, like 2 years of delays. Yeah. The trailers for Flintock didn't look very encouraging, but that's why I got the delays, I suppose. So hopefully it comes out nice. So that's my games that have sprung to mind in the 3 minutes before we started this show today. What have you got? So let's start with what's it called? Stalker. My head got filled with the name Scorn, and it's definitely not Scorn. Stalker 2. Let's start with that. Stalker 2 has obviously been developed against an horrific background of war that's directly impacted the studio that are making it. It debuted trailer-wise quite a long time ago, and it's absolutely stunning. It was probably the single best-looking Xbox trailer when it came around. And obviously the studio's had a lot of trouble. They've also delayed the game massively to compensate for that trouble. But what are we thinking? Peep indeed. 24 players on a Ghost of War, that's a good number. Are we thinking that Stalker 2 is going to land and resonate and do well for itself? I obviously want it to. I mean, you want every game to launch good, but Stalker 2 in particular, because of the hardships the studio have gone through, you can't help but feel some empathy and hope that it turns out brilliantly for them. Yeah. Ali Thompson, you think it would be just like Metro. So Metro is like well polished and well respected, but also quite niche in a way. Obviously does well enough that it got like 3 sequels. And it's got similar vibes to it. So I see what you're saying with that bit of it. Patrick, studio deserves our support, that is true. When you say that, it's obviously it's going to be on Game Pass. Are you one of these that's going to attempt to buy it as well for that extra bit of support, or just going to play it and think positively on them? Pete, oops, back. I don't know, from Tom. Oh no, stuff gone wrong again. No, it's all still working. What was the few? Few that Pete came back. I agree. So Stalker 2, when is it set for now? Is it February, or did it get put back further than that? I don't want to watch this guy dancing anymore, but that's Stalker 2. I know a lot of people are really looking forward to it. I also know it was at, I think it was at Gamescom. It was definitely at one of the conventions in the tail end of last year, and underwhelmed some people that played it. So I hope that it turns out really well. Everybody wants it to, but I'm not sure I can quite meet the quality in that trailer. So Tom, you're really looking forward to it. Your friends loved the original, but you never played them. I don't know anyone that played the first ones. You hear a lot about it. They have like a real cult following. But yeah, I never played it. It was proper, like, deep PC nerd territory at a time before I was a PC nerd. Before I had discovered myself in that way, you know? I was still playing consoles and... You think it might be for you? Yeah, we'll see. Replicant played it. There we go. And is it as good? Like, does it deserve its reputation? Should we all be massively excited for the sequel? Some of your friends are old and PC nerds. Well, so am I now. But I wasn't old or a PC nerd when Stalker came out. It was janky as fuck. Yeah, that's... Yeah. So will it be forgivable for this one? Like, will this one survive if it's janky as fuck? Is there still an audience for a janky as fuck niche open world survival kind of whatever it is? You ain't played a PC game since Leisure Suit Larry about 25 years ago. Not like peak example of PC gaming there either. I hope you also managed to play some good PC games in your time there. It was always known as being Eurojank, yeah, but it's a different world now, isn't it? Can Eurojank survive Game Pass? 2 sequels to it were better. I didn't even know I had sequels. I'm not calling you a liar, but Makes sense. Right. And we also had on the list, I think it was, this is Darge's list, isn't it? Hellblade 2, which... official trailer from the Game Awards, that one, or did everyone seen the Hellblade trailers on and on? No, this is from the Xbox Series X version. I lie to you all day. Come on, Tony, that's not true. That's not true. Only between the sacred silence of sleep. Has got Stalker 2. You haven't got Stalker 2. You were told. Yeah, I've been told it doesn't look like the trailer. And this is the, I think it was Gamescom build, isn't it? But I believe you that it had sequels, Tom. Don't get me wrong. So, Hellblade 2. I very much liked Hellblade, the first one, but didn't enjoy it. Just... it was phenomenal, but it wasn't fun. And that's fine, that's what that game was. Hellblade 2 has walked this line where people want it to be the Xbox answer to a PlayStation game. And that's never really been their vibe. But how are we feeling on Hellblade 2? I have... like I said, I didn't find the first one fun. I just found it really, really good. And if they're aiming for the same thing again, then I know it's going to be another difficult play. So I'm not sure if excitement is the right word for it. First one was good though. Tony, your company had a lot of layoffs, even made the news. Anyone else get hit with layoffs? Is this today, Tony? Are you okay, or are you at risk or waiting to see what happens? Or Hellblade 2 will be great, but just like DD is for certain people. DD, Dragon and Dogma is not for certain people, it's for everyone. I think, yeah, I think Hellblade 2 is going to do what it does very well. Hopefully. Quality, I'm not even questioning that it'll be quality. I think if I have any questions about it, in terms of like any doubts about it, it would be that I'm not sure that the first Hellblade needed a sequel. In terms of the way that it addressed like mental health issues and all the rest of it, it felt like it had rounded off. And by continuing it, I'm not sure if it can stay as grounded or hit in the same way as the first one did. It's like that's a difficult line for them to walk. Stephen, you just wonder how Hellblade 2's narrative will work, as the first game seemed very much a one-off experience. Yeah, exactly what I was just saying, Stephen. So I promise I didn't read what you said until after I mentioned it. And that's my concern. My other concern is that it's ultra-wide. I'm not a fan of the big black borders. Sorry, Tony. Good for you with your already ultra-wide screen, but for me, you're wasting my pixels. I paid for them pixels. Fill up my damn screen. Is the original Hellblade Unreal Engine? It is. So, Replicant, that's funny you should ask. The original Hellblade, yes, it's an Unreal Engine game. Yes, the injector works with it. Team Ninja made a VR version of it. You can buy Hellblade VR on the PC though, so you don't need an injector, because there is an actual VR version of Hellblade, which is far wider than Tony's ultra-wide could ever dream to be, because it's all around you. Tom, Game Pass, Xbox has some very niche games. Does it need more mass appeal to get over the tax? I mean, it's going to get it through the Activision purchase, right? That counts as mass appeal. I think the tax is going to hit harder when games like that come. I've said before, I think before the last set of reviews absolutely bombed on that particular obscure release, I said that I thought Call of Duty's review scores will trend down from the acquisition. Whether the game actually changes in any meaningful way, I think the review scores are overdue, trending down anyway, but I think that will happen. And that's if you completely disregard the one that just came out, because that is like an exception, as it wasn't a real game. In terms of, like, I don't think the tax is necessarily all that important to the growth of Game Pass, though. That's very much a core audience thing that care about that stuff. In terms of getting Microsoft over the hump and expanding the numbers, I don't know what they need. They're struggling. More content can't do any harm, can it? Well, I was to say, Replicant, on your Hellblade VR one though, there's a native Hellblade VR where they changed it to forward rendering and made it really performant. Baseline Hellblade had a ray tracing update earlier this year, I can't remember. So none of that stuff will be in the actual VR version. So it could be, and I haven't tried it, but it could be that you can get a prettier experience if you play base Hellblade VR with the injector rather than the actual Hellblade VR mode. You'll get better performance out of the actual VR one though. Both of them are controller games. It doesn't make you Senua. It retains its play with a controller like vibe or mechanics. Pete, you never completed one, so you hope they've made two have wider appeal. And Patrick, the sequel will be Senua dealing with her mental health while people are depending on her. Yeah. The first one had you doing a lot of questioning what was real though. And it's kind of more established going into the second one, so I don't know, we'll see. Right, so we've had them games, right? We've had them games. Oh, and on January the 16th, I'm looking forward to this, World of Warcraft has an update that lets you play the game with AI instead of real people. So I can play World of Warcraft and do the dungeons and stuff and not have to intermingle with World of Warcraft players. That's an exciting 2024 development. Right? Yes. Fucking Warcraft players, sorry Replicant. You're cool, the rest of them aren't. Right. You must have some more. That was a few games on my list. Tell me what you're really looking forward to. 2024 is going to have loads of stuff, just like 23 did. And Tony, I need to see what your answer was to the very important question. You're good, you survived. Alright, good. That's the answer I was looking for. Final Fantasy VII, Apex Legends, what? No one's looking forward to the Final Fantasy VII Apex Legends thing. I'm going to look at what that is though, because when I was looking for the trailer earlier, I saw that one flash up as a real thing. Final Fantasy 7 Apex. No, it's not coming up. I can't remember what I searched to bring it up earlier. It's just going to be skins for this. 6 hours ago, Apex Legends Final Fantasy VII Rebirth event. Please allow me to vomit everywhere. To be fair, like Apex Legends, much like other battle royales, it's ripe for silly crossovers and stuff because the world is not taking itself seriously in any way whatsoever. I'm still typically just not a fan of crossovers. Apex Legends has always been a little bit more serious than this though. Like, I'd expect to be finding purple materia in Fortnite. Oh well, guess they want all of the money. Gaz doesn't play Apex anymore, and I mean he's never finished a Final Fantasy game. He will happily sit on Go Live and talk for 20 minutes about his opinions on Final Fantasy. He's never finished one, so take that as you will. Baz, you're just hoping it's this year. What's this year? What's this year? Fable. I don't think Fable will be this year. I think they will try and reasonably space out Avowed, Fable, and Elder Scrolls. I know Elder Scrolls is a long way off, but Fable I think is not that soon. Replicant, you're so done with Apex. It was alright as Battle Royale goes. Patrick, it's just skins in the Buster Sword. I don't know, I said there was materia in the world, so it's some kind of event. More Fortnite style. Fable is probably 5 years. That would... Like, I hope it's sooner than that, because we've known about it for a long time. But yeah, I don't think it's 2024. Repeat my question. I can't remember my own question, Tony. What was my question? Does anyone know? Oh no, the question was about your job security, that you're doing okay in life. I wanted to make sure that you were not having an awful day. 2025 I can see for Fable. I know they still are recruiting for like particularly senior positions and things like that that get people concerned, but it has been in very active development for quite a long time now, so hopefully 25. Hello, Isla. When the stream crashed, did all the questions go away? No, I think they stayed there. Ali, you can't wait for Fable. You love fantasy games. You're 120 hours deep into Baldur's Gate. Yeah. Yeah. Baldur's Gate 3, not as far as you. I think between us, I'm playing with Isla and with my wife, and we're probably 90, 100 hours into it, something like that. Tom, you missed 5 minutes because your housemates... What do you mean your housemates don't love me? You need new housemates. You've got a very small pool of people to choose from. It's the people that are here right now, so I hope we can make something work for you. Vivecraft. Tony, T-Rex doesn't need Vivecraft. Just do nice, easy Bedrock Minecraft. Or even if you've got side quests, you can do it natively on the quest. I did Vivecraft a while ago, but it's definitely more painful to set up than just launch Bedrock, press VR. Depends how serious you want to play it. Vivecraft lets you punch trees and have like more VR interactions. Bedrock just sticks you in Minecraft and lets you look at the scale of it and go, ooh, it's big. But T-Rex is familiar with the controls, so stick him in the Bedrock one. Oh, you want to mod it up and make it realistic. Okay. Okay, you do that, Tony. Have at it. Tom... Yeah. No, I understand. I'm only messing around. Your housemates do not need to love me. I can get by with just the people that are here. They all love me very much. More games. Give me some more. Top game of the year material or things you're really excited about for 2024. Because if you haven't got any more, then we're going to quickly loop around to this month's sub-services. A lot of S's. And then close off. Close off, not clothes off. Keep your clothes on. You're crazy, all of you. No, Tom. That's... okay, fine. Let's do sub-services. So, games that are coming out this month on Xbox Game Pass. I can't remember what they are. This was a terrible idea. Clockwork Revolution this year. See, Patrick... Clockwork Revolution is on the same tier as the Hades and Avowed tier for me, except that I've not seen anything to kind of suggest that it's this year. It could be, and I would very much like it to be. I'm excited to see what that one, like, see more of that one and see what it is. I just didn't list it because I'd be a little bit surprised if it is this year. Excited for the Sea of Stars DLC. I still haven't played it. I have it downloaded. I'm ready to play it. But I've had to insert League of Legends higher into the queue. So that'll be happening in the near future. League of Legends with Gamsley training me. Do we have any League of Legends players here? I need people to jump in with me. In Exile are unhinged. They mess around and release it tomorrow if they want. And yeah, maybe Patrick, but they've got like publishing overlords now who might insist that it's not quite as buggy as Wasteland 3 was. Never played a MOBA like League. So I've always said that, oh, not always, but I reckon MOBA is the genre. I say this about survival as well, so I'm being a massive fraud here. Survival games and MOBA games are the two genres that I think are really ripe to become things that I adore. Gams is here. We're talking about it right now. I've always said that they're not always. These are the two genres that are ripe to become brilliant when there is a game that does it right. And it could be that I fall in love with League of Legends. We're definitely going to play it. I'm thinking I've got quite a stacked little schedule for the next few days, but I'm thinking early next week we'll make that happen. I've got Gamsley. Gamsley's going to be the coach. Anybody that looks at MOBAs and is enticed but a bit nervous because you've heard how toxic those communities are and all the rest of it, and you know League of Legends has been around for 100 years and everyone that's playing it has become an expert already. But if you're thinking, I'd quite like to give that a go, it's the opportunity of a lifetime, this one, because we're going to play it and I'm going to be terrible and I'm going to learn. Pokemon Unite, yeah, that's a light MOBA, isn't it? I don't know if that was actually any good or not. There's no reason to think that it wouldn't be, except that it kind of got no attention, fell off the world shortly after launch. But League of Legends, I mean, all of you Game Pass subscribers, you've got all of the heroes ready to go. It's there, it's ripe for the taking. It's only small, I've got it downloaded. Tony, I've never played it. That's not a reason to watch. That's all the more reason to get in at the ground floor and try and get the hang of it and learn it with us. Replicant, you played Smite. So I've had a single game of Smite and maybe half a game of League of Legends. Pokemon Unite is and was great. Does it have a community around it that still play it? Because I looked at Pokemon Unite and thought maybe this is the one. Like I said, it's been a long time that I've been looking at MOBAs thinking there'll be a friendlier one to cut my teeth on. And I did look at Pokemon Unite and think maybe that's good, but then it's obviously on Nintendo stuff that I don't have. And I think it was cross-platform with mobile, wasn't it? Wasn't that a Switch and mobile game? And the mobile thing just put me right off it. Tony, you're being weird now. It was, okay, cool. And it does have a community around it. Well, Pokemon Unite's not on the agenda. League of Legends is on the agenda. We're doing that one. Replicant, you're also welcome to give it a go. You might love it. Patrick, you'll play Pokemon TCG with someone before you play Unite. What's the card game? As in the physical, like collect the actual cards. Is that what the mob in MOBA means? No, it doesn't mean mobile. It's multiplayer online battle arena. So it just means multiplayer. And I could be wrong on that, but that's what I think it stands for. All based on Defense of the Ancients. You tried to play League of Legends once, but you died in the tutorial. Ah, it has a tutorial. I know what to do. I know what to do. I'm going to be an expert by the time we start. In that I'll know whether I need to click the left or the right mouse button to move my character. I do, in the way that I prefer Diablo on console rather than PC, I do think there's a fair chance that I'd prefer a controller-based MOBA over a keyboard and mouse one, but we'll see. Wasn't Quake a multiplayer online battle arena? No, that's a different kind of arena. Those are arena shooters. Quake 3 Arena and Unreal Tournament were, yeah, they were arena games, but very different to a MOBA. A bad tutorial can kill the desire to play. Devs need to concentrate on a great tutorial. League of Legends is a weird one, Pete, because it's mechanically quite dense. I think, and Camsy can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think like the original Defense of the Ancients was a Warcraft 3 mod, and as such, some of the mechanics are what I would consider counterintuitive. But they're translated, like, it worked. A community built around it, fell in love with it, and they translated it very directly into League of Legends. So it's got a lot of quite harsh, like, last hit mechanics. You've got your AI walking around in battles, and if you want any credit for being part of that fight, you need to be the one that takes the last hit on any creature that dies. And that kind of stuff is not friendly, and there's no tutorial that will make it friendly. It's just something that community is built around and familiar with. So that was what put me off of it, because it's weirdly gamey. But I'll get used to it. I will learn the ways of the Gamsley. We'll do lane things. Bring back manuals. You've got YouTube, Pete. Manuals you don't need. I know that YouTube is illegal in terms of guides and answering puzzles and things, but yeah, stay off of YouTube. Figure it out for yourself. Just press all of the buttons until you understand what works. You know nothing about League's mechanics. I know very little about League's mechanics. Very little, apart from that one thing about last hit. You're going to make me like it. I can be pretty stubborn, but there's a chance that I will like it. It is the multiplayer aspect of it that kept me away mostly. That's why it's been on my list of genres that I think are ripe for being brilliant. I think there will be one that I love. Whether it turns out it was under my nose for the last 20 years or whatever, we'll find out. So, last thing, subscription services. PlayStation Plus this month has... we only know about the base tier, so what used to be equivalent of Gold. Gold doesn't do monthly games anymore. The base tier of PlayStation Plus has Nobody Saves the World, which is... I'll bring up a trailer for that. I've played a fair amount of that on Game Pass. It's okay. I didn't finish it, but it's... you'll see with the trailer is easier than me trying to describe it, right? Trailer. Nobody Saves the World. Launch trailer from a year ago. Boom. This is what it looks like. You start off as Nobody, that guy, and you learn to evolve into various other kinds of creatures. Yes, made from the creators of Guacamelee, which was popular in its own right. First creature you get is a rat, and then you evolve, and it has quite an expansive tree of evolutions you can have and creatures that you can become. Yeah, there it is. And it's quite good actually, but it's definitely made to be a game that you play for a long time. So it's got kind of end game mechanics that will see you grind for a long time. Randomized dungeons and things like that, so with the intent that you do that dungeon more than once and it's different every time you go in. And I didn't really want a game that demands that sort of time. I just wanted to play it and have some fun and then finish it. So when I detected that the end wasn't in sight, I stopped playing. But it's not, it's a pretty good game, albeit a small one. Evil West is the other one, which we talked about a bit earlier today. That's coming onto it. Kratos was saying that he's playing it. I think, was it Kratos that was playing that earlier? Which I'm not going to bring that trailer up again, but it should be worth playing, I guess. And what was the third one? What's the third PlayStation Plus game? I have forgotten. Heroes of the Storm was amazing before Bobby Kotick destroyed it. Heroes of the Storm I did play a bit. I liked Heroes of the Storm. Heroes of the Storm didn't have last hit mechanics. It was that little bit more friendly. And yeah, I remember collecting all the bones to make the bone golem and all that kind of stuff in that one. I did play a little bit of Heroes of the Storm. I wasn't necessarily good at it, but I grew up on Blizzard games and liked a lot of the characters in that, so It was good fun, and Bobby Kotick is gone now, so Microsoft can rescue it, right? For sure they can. Did anyone see Games Master when they brought it back? No. Didn't know they had brought it back. Actually, I vaguely remember seeing casting calls for who would be the new floating head. But no, I didn't watch it. Drink. Throat getting sore. There's only 2 questions in the box, so add them now or it's going to be a quick end to the show. That's okay, because everyone needs to go to sleep, right? Well, I don't. I need to go and do a League of Legends tutorial on the sly. Get some practice in. There must be more of you that want to play it. Like, I'm going to be terrible. Come on. Gams is going to make us like it. That's an opportunity of a lifetime. Nobody knows the other PlayStation Plus game either. Okay, and what was on Game Pass? Terrible hosting of this section of the show because I didn't intend to talk about this. Game Pass has started with 8 games and I can't remember a single one of them. They were on the Discord server. I should just have a little flick through. Because episode 13 was talking about them. Yeah, fuck it. It's a boring topic. Let's do... Let's wrap things up with the questions. I'm going to do the Discord before we do the Q&A thing. So if you've got stuff that you want to stick in there, stick it in there now. I'm going to have a look and see if we picked up any questions along the way in the Thursday show questions section of the Discord. If you're not familiar with the Discord, it is a nice friendly place. You must become a member of the YouTube or Twitch and then just follow the Discord link. If you sign up, if you link your Twitch or YouTube account to your Discord account, then it will stick you in the Discord with all of the rooms that you need and you'll have a wonderful time because the people there, even Tony, are cool. Questions we've got. So Tony's asked, which movie or TV show has never been in a subscription streaming service? Question mark. Will games be like that eventually as well? After 8 months, a game won't be raking money in like they did in the first few months. So I get the question now, because obviously there's been loads of movies and TV shows that have never been in a subscription service, but you mean modern releases that are deemed too special to go into them ever? Films, you obviously get, like the bigger blockbuster films have a theatric release or a cinema release before going into any services. Normally they follow a line of theatric release, boxed release for DVDs and even paying for the digital versions and then going into services afterwards. I'm not sure. There probably are some publishers that just don't do it, but those other mechanisms are struggling against it. So the obvious examples of games that might not fit. So Larian said that Baldur's Gate 3, they don't see it fitting, but I reckon it'll probably turn up at some point because, like you say, sales do slow down. That's even true of like Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto. They end up in there eventually, multiple years after release. So I don't know that there are games that are too good or too special to go in a subscription service, Tony. What do the rest of you think? Because like you say, sales eventually dry up. Oh, I know what doesn't fit in a subscription service actually. Here's your answer, Tony. That will never be in any of the subscription services. Fortnite, Roblox, like things like League of Legends have found ways to shimmy in there with the hero unlocks, but free-to-play games are harmed by subscription services. Halo Infinite's multiplayer, not on a subscription service. So when you get that kind of game where its revenue model is based on people getting hooked and playing it all the time, the free-to-play model, those games don't go. They don't need to go into subs. Grand Theft Auto 6 is obviously not going to launch into a sub, but I can like 3, 4, 5 years after launch, probably will be. Probably will be, just like 5 was, just like Red Dead Redemption 2 was. So, but yeah, free-to-play games. At some point, because on those games, the whole point is to, like the whole model is to take away barriers to entry and get as many people playing as possible. That's why you can play Fortnite on the Xbox Cloud Multiple reasons you can do that, but that's why you can play it on there without even subscribing to the cloud. So get people in through the door and then hope that they drop the money on it. Replicant, that doesn't necessarily make it worse. I've not said anything smart for a little while, so keep it muted. There's like minimal hopes that I'm going to manage it in this last bit. Does anyone have a member milestone thing? I want to know if it crashes the stream or not. If anyone's got one of them saved up, I don't even know what they look like when you got them saved up on YouTube. But when Isla tried one, the whole stream fell over. So I'm very curious as to whether that happens next time or not. I'm also still curious as to whether it played the right one. It's really, really complicated. I've got different alerts set up for the number of months that you've been on there, as well as like what tier of it is. As there's a lot going on, so it could easily fall over. Twitch, Ali, I see you there. You won't have one on Twitch because Twitch works differently. More Twitch things are coming soon. The highlighted things I've not set up yet, but thank you. Appreciate the attempt. Tony, you don't have one yet. It's every month, yes. At the end of every month, yeah. Yeah. No milestone, not to worry. They'll come up soon. I think it's a coincidence that the whole stream crashed when that happened, but we'll find out next time it happens. Rep, can you use yours last week? No problem at all. You think you get it on the day of the month that you join? Yes, Pete. They say it's the end of the month, so potentially one day before the month that you joined. You know what I mean. Nobody knows what's coming to Game Pass. So what was the next question in here? Scotsy has asked Isla if this counts for the Tuesday questions. No, we didn't do this on the Tuesday one. Tuesday was a whole different thing. And then Isla says, don't think anyone's going to check here. So the Thursday Discord section of questions was fairly sparse this week, which is fine. Let's do the YouTube questions. That means over to you, Isla. I'm going to need question 1. Oh yeah, Assassin's Creed Valhalla came into Game Pass this month. I think that's already on the PlayStation Ubisoft collection, and obviously it's already on Uplay as well, but Close to the Sun. There were 2 games from Wired on there, but I can't remember what they were. I could look it up. I'm being really lazy. And I've lost the questions. Wait. Click here. So, episode 13 asked, never forget pancakes for life. Also, when is Sony going to sort out a roadmap? So, episode 13, if you do catch this back, I share your love of pancake lenses. They make for the best virtual reality. The step up from Fresnel lenses to pancake lenses is a game changer. Virtual reality is so crisp and clear right now compared to how it used to be in terms of glare and stuff like that. Salute to you for recognition of pancake lenses. Sony's roadmap, they revealed it up to 2035, at least from Insomniac. So we know that Sony do in fact have a very lengthy roadmap. What we don't know is if there's anything on it for the next 1 or 2 years. I hope that there is. Exactly, Tony. Pancake lenses are the ones. Yeah. You have no personal space. Yeah. So, what are Sony doing that we don't know about? They've been really, really quiet. I suspect there is just not that much coming next year, but I would very much like to see like Ghost of Tsushima 2's on the way, or whatever else Sucker Punch might be working on. Whatever. That is what it is. So, Dick Wingbat, there's a name for the ages. I invented you. Thanks for the follow. No problem at all. I saw, in fact, it was because I saw you got, I can't remember it's XS something or other, and then in brackets the Dick Wingbat, and I was like, oh shit, I know you. I know you from the Saturday show, so of course follow. You think Sony's going to have a bad year? Yeah, I mean, they do have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth as one of my most anticipated games for the year, and it's not Sony first party, but that's not necessarily an important distinction. I think Sony are going to probably have a quiet year. Enthusiasm will turn around if they can at least start talking about things that are coming, even if it's not this year. I don't know, they've got studios, they might surprise us. It only needs 1 or 2 things, but I can't see anything massive that's not been revealed at this point as coming out in 2024, so. Please say clearly when I want the next question. Yeah, let's do the next question. Especially some of the canned service games were planned for 2024. Fair point. It's always Foam Stars to carry the day. Always rely on Square Enix to bridge the gap with a bit of Foam Stars. Episode 13. There's rumours of Xbox doing a shadow drop for a game this year, you've noticed. Not sure if true. Thoughts, and also duck stuffed pancakes. Actually, I'm going to correct you on that one, episode 13, because you'd think it's probably theoretically true, but no one's actually made a headset with lenses that fit a duck's head yet. And if you put a regular human virtual reality headset onto a duck, they actually get pretty angry, which is weird. Because I really like VR, but the ducks, they can't eat it, so they're not happy. One day someone will make a proper duck form factor headset with pancake lenses, and then I think you're right, the ducks will love it. There's rumors of Xbox doing a shadow drop. That's the one downside of Hi-Fi Rush shadow dropping at Developer Direct this year, is there is already an expectation that not only that there will be a Developer Direct, which there will be, but that it will also have a shadow drop on the same kind of level as Hi-Fi Rush. So, I mean, if they do it again, then they're going to cement that as an expectation for a while, aren't they? I'm not sure there is one this time. I've seen the rumors. I've seen people talk about Double Fine having something to shadow drop, which doesn't seem that likely, but, you know, I can be wrong. I'm not a rumors and speculation guy. I don't really follow things that closely, and if I... yeah, it's just not me, but... I wouldn't be surprised if there is no shadow drop. And I'll be pleasantly surprised if there is one. Your earphone died. Did you miss anything? No, you didn't miss anything. We're just talking about ducks and stuff. They could definitely... yeah, that would fit the bill, Ali. Like, that should be relatively simple. They've got a worth of stuff that they can put out there that's already out from Activision Blizzard. Double Fine's 25th anniversary is this year. Yeah. So when did Psychonauts 2 actually come out? It's a while now, I suppose, isn't it? They've never traditionally been a studio that puts stuff together quickly, as far as I know, though. 2020. Oh, it has been a while then. I know it was obviously at the tail end of their independence. Like, they were acquired before it actually came out. But the day Xbox supports virtual reality, we need to do a wellness check on me. Why? I'll be very well, Tony. Why would you need to do a wellness check on me? You're worried that I'll celebrate too hard. They might have shadow drop some Bethesda DLC. The Shattered Space one I don't think will be a shadow drop. If you mean like DLC, because Starfield is still a big marketing beat. But who knows? What does smudge mean? Means whatever you want it to mean, Tony. Smush, that's like smushing it. That's what it means. Let's do question for everyone there. What are you expecting from the Xbox Developer Direct? I'm not even going to ask if you are expecting one, because I think Microsoft would be silly not to do one, as it went so well for them last time and set a positive tone for the year ahead that didn't last all that long. Obviously there was Redfall and stuff after that, but They went into the year on a high, and they can do it again with another developer direct. So I'll expect that to happen, but what are we expecting to see there? Hellblade and Avowed are locks. Yeah, there should be. So last one, they only showed 5 games. When is it? January, February? An early in the year thing. Developer Direct was the one that they had in, I can't remember the exact date, but they showed 5 games, which was, it would have been Redfall and Starfield, Forza, something, and Hi-Fi Rush. Can't remember something. And I think they'll stick to the same kind of format. It won't be wildly different. Small number of first-party games. You want 4 directs a year? Yeah, they didn't last time though, did they? Oh, was it Minecraft Legends was the other one? So it was all stuff that was relatively imminent. So Hellblade and Avowed, yes. Other things too. Indiana Jones is still long overdue, and there were strong rumours that that was going to be at the Game Awards, and then it wasn't. So that could be there. Redfield DLC as a shadow drop. They probably don't want to sully Developer Direct with a tarnished name such as Redfall. Which is what I assume you mean by Redfield. Starfield? Redfall? I don't know. Let's do the next question. Might well be overshadowed by last year's secret PS showcase. Which one, Pete? The first or the second? You messy console warrior, you. Tony has asked, this show will not end. Tell me about your first time losing to Tony. How did you feel? Has that happened, Tony? Oh no, that happens fairly regularly actually. You quite often beat me on Forza, don't you? You're a dick. What else have I lost you on? Street Fighter, maybe. Redfield, I don't know, Tom. I can't see it anywhere in chat a few lines above. Maybe shadow dropping Redfall off a cliff. Yeah, they would if they could. Who won at mini golf? That was me. I won at mini golf. And who topped the scoreboards on that? I can't even remember the name of it. Dungeons of Eternity, Tony. Oh, it was me. Don't make me pull out the screenshots, because I will. There's no evidence that I did. There's evidence of both. I keep it very well documented. But no, Tony, you are good at most of the games that we play. It is true. Or I am terrible at most of the games that we play. Or a little from column A, a little from column B. Let's do the next question. Is episode 13 sensitive? I don't even need to answer this. Everybody knows episode 13 is very sensitive. It's probably because we've had 2 questions that he asked where I turned them into VR questions. He's probably already upset by the time that he gets to this point. So episode 13, I'm sorry, it's all just in jest. We like Xbox. Next question. Pro on VR, no. There you go, episode 13. Pete says you're lovely. Everybody likes to hear you talk every now and again, right? Bit of farmer. That was not my farmer impression. What was the wine that I just refilled with? I didn't refill, Pete, actually. I haven't had any wine yet. That was my first little tipple of wine. And I don't know what it is. That's what it is. It's alright. It's alright. Steve Merchant's brother alone. Yeah. Let's do... Wait a minute. Looked like white wine. No, it wasn't white. I don't touch white wine, really. It is red. Now that you mention it, I'm suddenly weary that it's going to end up on my face again. Very carefully have some drink. What's the next question, please? expression either. It means drink the red wine. There you go. Tom confirms that it's alright. And we've got a Tom question. If VR is virtual reality, how is real reality defined? How do you know you're here or there, or if you dropped out of VR into AR, or even another R that has yet to be defined? So, Tom, there is some question about levels of augmented reality that actually it's a full spectrum. If you're in virtual reality, actually it is still augmented because you can still feel the world around you, you can still smell it, you can still feel the air of the real world. If you're playing a video game with a controller, you're partly in a game, you can see the world. Everything exists on this scale of reality, and the more virtual you go, the better. Get rid of as much real as possible. Some people appreciate the world and nature. I am happy to replace it all with better nature. That's the best answer I got for you. I don't know, Tom. I don't know. Next question. Is real reality augmented too? Well, we can go into simulation theory, but I have no strong opinions. If this whole universe that I perceive is a simulation for me, by me, or whatever else, then it's like fucked up, right? So no, the real world is real. It has to be, or someone's an arsehole. What if we're in a simulation right now? Indeed, replicant. Ali, that question sounded like how much wood could a woodchuck wood? Wait. How much wood could a woodchuck wood if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Yeah, something like that. Next question, please. Oh, wait, I've already got it. Wait. Don't do the next question. I'm still there. So Ali has asked, is big titles going day and date on Game Pass only done because the player base isn't as big? If Xbox was to grow to the level of PlayStation or become the #1 console, would that stop? So, no, I think they'd have a very hard time walking that back, because that's signature commitment of the service. What could change is the types of games that Microsoft make for the service more so. So once they're established and they're making Gears of War 9 and they're allocating the budget for Gears of War 9, they might not have that much motivation to make that budget really high because the return on it isn't necessarily any different. That really depends. That's a question of competition. That's why you need other services to exist as well, and other avenues for content so that it would hurt them. Otherwise, why would they spend lots on content? I don't think Microsoft know all the answers to this stuff yet. Not Xbox games, but the exclusive third-party stuff. I think when Xbox get their own internal studios firing properly and get this regular cadence of games, yes, the third-party stuff more or less stops. More or less. It puts Microsoft in a very powerful negotiating position because games that don't go into the service will struggle, which means that they'll get them in there cheaply. So I don't think Microsoft will take a hardline policy like we don't do third-party stuff anymore. So no, I've changed my mind. My answer is no. Third-party stuff will continue to go in there. Microsoft will just pay less for it because they won't need to pay as much for it if they get the dominant position that they're after. But they will be in that dominant position and they will be able to make those deals. So it will keep going, keep rolling. Third-party stuff, first-party stuff, all of it, everything going in there. The other question is, will games that don't go in there still have a chance of success? And I'm not talking about the real outliers like a Grand Theft Auto 6 or whatever, but the rest of the range of games, will they still survive when everybody's got a wealth of games within Game Pass that they didn't have to pay extra for? We shall see. Imagine watching The Matrix while being in a Matrix. Maybe we don't have to imagine Replicant. Maybe we've all done it. Red leather, yellow leather, very fast 3 times. I don't want to, Pete. No, I was going to then, but no, I'm not going to. I'm not going to. We'll save that one for another day. You had the woodchuck today. When I was a kid, it was red lorry, yellow lorry. But leather probably works all the same. Next question, please. Wait. Tony, you thought something said big titties. What are you talking about? Lifecraft requires Java. Yes, it does, Tony. Okay, I'm going to leave that behind. Leave that behind. Don't need to know. So Tony has asked, Xbox, PlayStation have had stuff leak early. Do you think they like it when it does? Give it hype. And when's the last time Nintendo had a leak? No, Tony, they don't like it when it does. I think in some cases, like when the Xbox Series S leaked and they managed to take control of the narrative and blow it up, there will be some circumstances where something does go viral in a way that benefits them, and they'll be happy as can be with that, because that's like a marketing dream, right? To have something viral, and you can't necessarily conjure it and create it artificially. So some leaks, I'm sure, do benefit them, and they'll be all pleased that they got some positive messaging out of it. But as a rule, if you said to them, like, would you rather things just never leak again, they would probably bite your hand off for that opportunity to keep control of the narrative themselves. Nintendo leaks, you get a lot of rumors and stuff about their hardware, and then those rumors usually don't pan out. So in terms of their game development, you're right, they keep it watertight, but that's because Nintendo games are developed by teams of 2.5 people, because they're so small and tiny and simple. So there's nowhere for them to leak, because they're still made by the Nintendo executive team. Miyamoto and his 2 best friends sit in a room, sit in a basement and make the next Mario game. Nothing leaks from Nintendo because it's small and tight-knit. That's not true, obviously. Nintendo games have a lot of polish and a lot of people working on them, but I don't think they're building them to the scale where they need to start outsourcing and bringing in marketing partners and things like that. So I think they have an easier time keeping things secure and locked up than, for example, Sony would when they contract 1,000 outside people to work on a Last of Us game or something like that. Nothing leaks on Nintendo because no one is going to show the new Mario, the last 25 Marios. That's true. You probably could get away with it. You could be a Nintendo leaker just by showing random screen grabs from the past 25 years of Marios and just pretending that it's new. Probably get away with that for a while. There are definitely people that try, though, and make stuff up about all of them. PlayStation have someone very leaky at the moment, particularly on the hardware side. Like Tom Henderson gets every intricate detail of their hardware well in advance. So, in terms of games and content, it's a bit different. But it is complicated. Big games have so many outside people involved. Anyway. Yeah, that's my answer. Next one. I thought you said there were only 2 questions, and now I've got this weird music singing in my ears. You met Miyamoto, and he was as lovely as you would want to imagine. Good. When did you meet him? Like, what kind of event? People did add more, and that's okay. That's the purpose of the box. They're allowed to add more. Tony, is there a game so trash that you would travel back in time and make sure that dev was never born? No, Tony, not even 12 minutes. I might travel back and give them some career advice in a threatening manner, but not make sure that they were never born, no. Right, next question. It was at an E3 trade show decades ago. Oh, you got to go to E3 and you got to meet Miyamoto, so way back when Nintendo attended. That sounds cool, Pete. What were you showing off? Or were you not showing anything off? Painful discourse, yeah, it's getting late there. You have a good sleep. Thank you for sticking by all this time. That was the last question. Cool. So, that's the end. Save up some milestone chats. I want to see if stuff works without crashing future streams. Tomorrow is Friday, which means it should be Baldur's Gate 3 day. Those have been pretty popular lately. So come by and watch that if you want to, or do something else if you prefer. You're not prisoners here. Replicant, one question, you may go for it. Is a steering wheel worth it? You mentioned that in Discord. I would say it depends on your capacity to mount it. You do need to, like, if you get a steering wheel and you try and play it on your lap, then you're not going to have the best experience with it. But if you've got somewhere where you can mount it and have a screen or a VR headset, then it's very worth it for a racing game. I question, so when I'm playing like a Gran Turismo or like any other racing game with a steering wheel and a VR headset, I always talk about how much of a difference the VR headset makes, but I also question which one. If I had to choose between the steering wheel and the VR headset, if I could play a racing game but I could only have the headset or the steering wheel and not both, which device would be the most transformative? And it's not a simple question. Like, I think I would probably have to, I'd have to edge towards the steering wheel as being more transformative in most of them. But at the same time, I played the first Dirt Rally with a controller and was surprised at how cool as fuck it was playing VR with a controller. Even though the control scheme then doesn't make much sense, it's still cool as fuck. So ideally you want both. That's the best experience. Some are bloody expensive, yes. I got a relatively low end, but with like, so low end but does have the force feedback and stuff. Logitech steering wheel. I didn't look at the one that you linked earlier to know what kind of features it has, but I'd say yes, it's worth it if you can mount it. No, it's not worth it if you're going to be playing with it on your lap. Kratos, you like some of the setups that you see on YouTube with the big, like the hydraulic rigs that move around and stuff. I want that. I don't use it anymore, but I had on the little racing seat that I've got, my kind of ghetto setup had base shakers. So you get a sim hub software that will use base shakers very well to simulate engine rumble and curbs and bumps and suspension bumps and things like that. And it's obviously not as good as a full hydraulic rig that costs thousands, but it did add quite a lot to sitting in that racing chair, and I miss my rumbly seat. But yeah, people do have wild things. Really gets me when you see them sitting on this big hydraulic rig, racing around corners, and it's like, when they've got these 3 stupid screens in front of them with the line down the middle. Like, what are you doing? Put a headset on, you bellend. Why would you have this rig that's clearly thousands of pounds and play it in stupid mode? But they do themselves, it's fine. Yes, those ones, Kratos, the 3 monitors. No, don't do it. Put a headset on. So much better. Oh well. I'm wearing a racing suit just to make sure it's fully sweaty. Yeah, right. What we're going to do now is end the show. So, tomorrow's Baldur's Gate. Saturday we'll have Go Live. I don't know who's on Go Live this week, but I'll talk more. And I'm not going to sit there in silence for this one for 3 hours. I'll try and be more present and involved. Sunday will be community stream again. We're going to play multiplayer games. Again, if you got any particular suggestions, then throw them on Discord. But we haven't had... We missed one, didn't we? We missed last week's community stream, so I'm feeling there's a lot of games we need to catch up on. So we'll make that happen, make it run as long as we can, and it'll be fun. And then it's round to next week, where I am going to get this League of Legends in, but there'll be many, many things next week. Flag Sinatra, the PlayStation guest was pretty talkative, so it wasn't my fault. It was my fault. It was my fault. I chose to I switched off very early on that show because it was immediately people talking about Twitter feuds and things like that. Everyone tell me League of Legends. That's happening. Gamsley, that's happening. I need to talk to you about when you're available rather than just dictate to you when I'm available. But that's happening early next week, I think. I'm looking forward to that. Does a headset really simulate a windscreen better than 3 monitors in panorama mode? Hell yes, it does, Tom. Because then you get like the whole dashboard and the roof, and it's just better. It's just better. Don't mess with me. It's better. Blech.
Asa. Game on Daily.